Hey, it's Humberto Garcia, and I'm actually going live for the first time on YouTube to address a major issue that a lot of photography studios are coming to terms with, they're having to deal with. And there seems to be a lot of confusion as to whether the PPP loan that you got for your business is actually taxable, number one, if it counts as taxable income, or if what you spend, the money on is going to be deductible. Now, it's the headlines are in the news. If you Google it, you're going to find a bunch of articles. A lot of it's outdated. But basically, there's a lot of surprise right now that people are figuring out the expenses you have with a PPP loan are not tax deductible. What does that mean? Well, imagine you go throughout the year, right? And you have $100,000 in profit and you have to pay income tax on that. Well, what's going to happen is maybe you got the PPP loan and you got an additional $20,000, and let's just say you used it and it was all forgiven. Well, a lot of people would think, okay, well, I got the $20,000 and I had $20,000 expenses and I paid it. And now I didn't have to pay taxes on this, but I can deduct this. That's usually not the case. Anytime you get free money from the government or anytime you get something like this, it shouldn't be a surprise that whatever you spend the money on is not going to be deductible. So if after all your expenses, you had $100,000 in profit, but out of that, you accounted for the $20,000 you spent on the PPP, and you're going to say, well, okay, well, I spent $20,000. So even though this isn't taxable, I also get to deduct it. And that's not going to be the case. So these things are moving and it's very fluid. The CARES Act was obviously written in a lot of haste. So there's going to be a lot of things changing. But the spirit of it was to basically give people obviously a loan that doesn't have to be paid back, that can be transferred into a grant in the event that you use it for what it's appropriate. 75% of it has to be used for payroll. You have to keep your employees, you have to keep your employees on. And if you guys haven't seen, I'm going to link it in here as well. The Treasury has also released, they've released an application that has basically 4 components. It has the basic information you need to fill out. It has a worksheet so that you can prove and self-certify that you've kept your employees on. It also has a worksheet so you can kind of do all the arithmetic and the calculations, which I definitely recommend that you download and start getting all the information gathered. And then it also has the required documents that you're likely going to have to show your bank. Now, I understand that this is a preliminary paper copy of this. And if my experience with the PPP loans has been pretty consistent, it's that the early adopters, they use the paper, but once the banks get wise, they start using digital applications. So most likely, since this is out early and most people aren't asking for forgiveness yet because the 8 weeks haven't passed, what's going to happen is a lot of the banks are basically going to release the applications. They're going to have you upload all the documents. You're going to be able to upload bank statements, payroll documents, or tax statements that say how much, employment wages that you've paid and so on. And obviously your utility bills and so on to ensure that you actually spent it on what you were supposed to. But just keep that in mind. It is very important that you set the money aside and you realize anything you spent on the PPP is not going to be tax deductible. If you got the free money, you're not going to be able to obviously use all the free money and then claim all of that as an expense, considering you paid it with the free money. So things could change. I could be completely wrong, but as of now, I can't figure out how to screen share in here, but there's articles in Forbes, CNBC, the IRS has made statements on this. And of course, this is all pretty new to us. And if you guys have been going through the SBA EIDL advance, the SBA loan, going through the PPP, just the entire process of all this, you can kind of tell it's all kind of put together with patchwork. So I wouldn't be surprised if anything changes, but I don't think there should be any surprise that if you got free money, that it's not also going to be, be able to be used for the double purpose of also claiming it as something that's as a tax deduction. So of course, I'm just a random guy on the internet, and you are going to want to go read all of this yourself or consult with your accountant, your bookkeeper. But I hope you guys are doing extremely well. We recently did a survey and we found that it was something around 70% of photographers applied for the PPP and about 70% got it. There's still some funding left as of May 20th. So if you haven't, I definitely suggest going to PayPal or Cabbage. They tend to be the fastest. And make sure that you can tap into that because if you don't have liquidity, if you haven't been able to stay open, if you have employees, even if you've been collecting unemployment benefits, it can help you moving forward. So I hope that you're reopening. I'm going to link to our Facebook group and maybe some of our resources. During this entire time, the most important thing to keep businesses going has been marketing, has been sales. So all of these government programs and help, they're just temporary. When you look back 3 years from now, this is not what's going to sustain your business in the long run. So make sure to take advantage of them, but just keep your eye on the prize and just remember that everything moving forward is going to depend on how well you can market your business, how many clients you can book, and what your sales are coming out of this. So, the preliminary information we've been seeing from places opening up are very, very inspiring. They're very uplifting. People are making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 sales as they were before. And people have been booking during this entire time. So if you want to see more information on that, make sure to join our mailing list and join our free Facebook group. But I will see you guys in the next one.